Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the show that digs through a pile of sources to give you the stuff you really need to know fast.
That's right, making you instantly informed.
And today, we're diving into something you see literally everywhere, but maybe don't always think deeply about: the logo.
It's kind of wild when you stop and think about it. The coffee cup you're holding, maybe the shirt you're wearing, the car you drive.
They all have logos.
Exactly. And estimates suggest the average person sees something like 300 plus business logos or brand marks every single hour. It's just constant, a silent language, really.
Wow, 300 an hour. That's a lot. And it really sets up our mission today, doesn't it? This isn't just about pretty pictures.
Not at all.
We're going deep, looking at the strategy, the psychology, the tech side of what makes a logo actually work.
The goal is for you, listening right now, to get some real insights. Understand the value, spot the traps.
Yeah, and make smarter choices. Whether that's for your own business or just, being a more savvy consumer out there. Okay, so let's kick things off. We've all seen logos we love and logos that make us cringe.
Oh, definitely.
But the first big question our sources throw at us is, maybe surprisingly, do you actually need a logo?
Yeah, it's a fair question.
Yeah.
And honestly, in the purest sense, maybe not. A business can survive on word of mouth.
Like someone doing freelance work for friends.
Exactly. Think about someone moonlighting, doing taxes for family and friends.
Yeah.
They probably don't have a fancy logo, right? And they can still do okay.
Okay, so it's not a fundamental need like, say, having a product, but then why are they so important for success? What's the real power here?
Ah, well, that's the interesting part. Well, you can get by without one. A logo changes how people see your business, especially newcomers.
So,
It's like a shortcut, a visual cue that says, hey, we're professional, we pay attention to the details. It gives people this little psychological boost.
it's sort of a perception thing. Like, if they care about their logo, they probably care about their service.
Precisely. It helps build that preconception that you look after the nuts and bolts, which definitely helps build trust and aids success.
Okay, that makes sense. So how do you figure out if your business needs one? The sources give us a kind of litmus test, right?
Yeah, some good questions to ask yourself,
Yeah.
like, is your market super crowded?
Uh-huh.
Are you jumping into a busy industry where you need to, steal customers from established players?
Right, or do you just need to grab attention really fast, that here I am moment?
Exactly. If you answered yes to even one of those, well, a logo probably moves from nice to have to pretty critical.
It's about standing out in the noise.
Totally. Look at the examples our sources mentioned, the hidden arrow in FedEx. Genius.
Oh, yeah, once you see it.
You can't unsee it. Or Coca-Cola basically defining Santa Claus's look. Or think about band logos Kiss, the Ramones instantly recognizable. Star Wars, same deal.
It's all about recognition.
In that split second, you have the consumer's attention. A good logo makes it count.
Which brings us neatly to the next point, value. How should we think about what a logo is actually worth? It's not just buying office supplies.
No, definitely not. The sources really push this idea. Frame it as an investment in your company's future. It's like a flag,
Yeah.
something everyone, staff, customers can rally around.
An investment, not an expense. I like that. And the flip side, what happens with a bad logo?
Well, there's this case study mentioned. A company designed its logo internally. It was not great.
Uh-oh.
The result? Total identity confusion. Staff didn't even want to use it. And they probably lost walk-in customers because nobody connected their ads or flyers to the actual building.
Wow. So a bad logo can actively hurt you.
Absolutely. It undermines everything else you're trying to do.
That's a stark contrast to some of the big examples. Like the London 2012 Olympics logo wasn't that incredibly expensive.
It was something like $800,000.
Yeah.
But here's the key thing the sources point out. That money wasn't just for drawing the picture.
Right. It was the whole package.
Exactly. Full brand strategy, integration plans, animations, tons of focus group testing,
Yeah.
the works. Same with the Nortel rebrand $600. That covered a massive rebranding, a 400-page style guide, global rollout,
And didn't their stock price jump?
dramatically, overnight. Made them millions. It shows that kind of strategic investment can pay off big time.
So the insight here is when you hear these huge numbers, $800 Ks, $10 K, whatever, don't just think artwork cost.
No way. You're buying strategy, implementation, research, a whole system designed to build brand value. People miss that behind-the-scenes work.
Okay, so connecting this back to our listener, how much should you think about investing? It can't be $800 K for everyone.
Of course not. The sources suggest it really depends on your goals, your sales aspirations.
Makes sense.
If you're aiming for, say, $100,000 or more in annual sales, then investing a few $1,000s in a professional logo Starts to look pretty reasonable, right?
Yeah, it's proportional, not one size fits all. It's an investment relative to your ambition. All right, we've laid the groundwork for why logos matter. Now let's talk about how things can go wrong. The pitfalls.
Oh, there are plenties.
First one, the DIY delusion. You see those ads, right? Design your own logo for $30. What's the catch?
Catch is, it's not really design software. It's more like clip art composition software.
Ah, so you're just sticking pre-made bits together.
Pretty much. And the problems are huge. First, you probably don't even own the icons you use, the software company does.
Seriously.
Yep. Second, they're not unique. Hundreds, maybe thousands of other people are using the exact same templates. So much for standing out.
Okay, that's bad. What else?
They're almost always pixel-based, which means they look terrible if you try to enlarge them for, say, a sign or a vehicle wrap. And they're often useless for professional printing.
So that no design skill needed line really means?
Very little actual original design is happening. It's glorified clip art with potential legal issues and files you can't really use professionally. Zero originality.
Yikes. Okay, what about those online how-to guides? You know, sketch it, color it, scan it.
Yeah, the sources walk through that typical example. Sketch on paper, colored pencils, scan it into Photoshop or whatever.
Sounds simple enough.
It sounds simple, but what you get is a low-resolution, pixel-based image in RGB color mode.
Which means?
Which means it's basically useless for most professional stuff.
Yeah.
You can't put it properly as a spot color on a business card, for instance. It'll look muddy or just wrong.
It's like trying to build a house with toy bricks.
Exactly. The source uses the analogy of do-it-yourself dentistry or DIY accounting. It sounds ridiculous when you frame it like that, right?
It really does. This is where vector versus pixel comes in, isn't it?
Absolutely critical. Vector files think Adobe Illustrator use math to define shapes.
Yeah.
They can be scaled infinitely, big or small, with zero loss of quality. Perfect edges, always sharp.
And pixel files?
Pixel files, JPEGs, GIFs are made of tiny dots, fine at their original size, but blow them up, they get blurry and jagged. Vector is essential for professional flexibility. Got it. Okay, pitfall number 2. Logo contests. Crowdsourcing. Sounds great. Hundreds of designs for cheap.
Yeah, the promise is choice, choice, choice. Pay a few $100, get flooded with options.
But the design industry isn't keen, right?
Not generally, no.
Hmm.
Most professional design organizations actually campaign against these contest sites. They see them as unethical spec work, basically damaging.
Like damaging. Seems like the client gets lots of options.
Well, think about who enters. Often it's students, hobbyists, or maybe pros just throwing old, unused stuff in. They're playing a lottery, not engaging in a proper design process with a client.
So the quality might be questionable.
That's putting it mildly. The sources break it down, that infographic pyramid. It shows the vast majority of submissions are just unusable, poor quality, totally off-brief.
No vetting process.
None. You get people who, frankly, have no idea what they're doing, putting in minimal effort because they're essentially working for free unless they win.
What else is in that bad pile? Oh, it gets worse. You find tons of non-licensed stock art, clip art that shouldn't be used in logos, and even blatantly copied or pinched ideas.
Because it's anonymous.
Exactly. Easier to get away with it. Plus, designers recycle rejected ideas from other contests, so originality takes a massive hit.
So you're wading through mostly junk to find maybe a few decent ideas.
A small fraction might be okay, yeah. But it's a terrible waste of a lot of people's time, yours included.
And the risk for the client, it's not just wasted time, is it?
No way. The big risk is picking a logo that actually belongs to someone else or uses unlicensed art. Imagine printing thousands of business cards.
Only to find out you can't legally use the logo. Ouch.
Huge waste of money and potential legal battles. The sources even suggest doing a reverse Google image search on any design you like from a contest, just to check.
Good tip. Okay, third danger zone, the McLogo effect. Those online services promising amazing logos super fast and cheap.
Right, the ones claiming our 1,000 designers are the best.
What's the reality there? Are there really 1,000 top designers waiting?
Unlikely. Often, these projects get farmed out, sometimes contest style again, to untested freelancers all over the world. Pros, students, amateurs, whoever bites.
And they're paid.
Peanuts, usually. It's not a dedicated team of top-notch pros focused on your project. It's more like a feeding frenzy.
They also push the more is better idea, more designers looking at it. Does that hold water?
Not really. The sources argue pretty convincingly, I think, that one great designer working closely with you will beat 10 mediocre designers working in isolation every time.
Quantity doesn't equal quality.
Especially not in design. More designers often just means more noise, more visual spam, not a better targeted solution.
And who do you actually talk to with these services?
That's another issue. Often you're dealing with a project manager, not the actual designer.
Mm-hmm.
So details get lost. Communication is indirect.
And if you need changes later,
The original designer might be long gone. Good luck getting consistency then. That direct relationship is really important.
okay, what about the unlimited revisions promise? Sounds tempting.
It does, but the sources call it a goofy concept. Think about it. If the designer is good and the brief is clear, you shouldn't need unlimited revisions.
It should get narrowed down fairly quickly.
Exactly. A few rounds, maybe. Unlimited revisions often just masks a poor process or lack of skill. It leads to endless tweaking, that visual spam again.
Can you really ask for 10,000 color combos in 3 days?
Right. It's impossible to maintain quality like that. And it ties into the lightning-fast turnaround promise, too.
If it's too fast, what's being skipped?
Crucial stuff. Research, thinking time, careful development, refinement. Or worse, maybe they're just pulling bits and pieces from old projects Frankenstein style, as one source puts it.
Not exactly original. Then there's the big claim. Our logos improve your bottom line. Can they really promise that?
That's optimistic. Let's call it borderline madness. How can they guarantee that? And the sources point out the catch in the refund policy.
Oh, what's the catch?
To get your money back, you often have to prove it didn't work by providing professionally produced materials, brochures, ads, etc., which cost you thousands.
So you spend more money to maybe get a small refund?
And you have to agree to stop using the logo.
Mm.
So you've wasted time, wasted money on materials.
Yeah.
It's designed to make refunds practically impossible.
Sneaky. Lastly, the online DIY logo generators. Not the software, but the instant web tools.
Ah, yes.
Mm.
Pretty interfaces, but underneath, it's still just clip art logos in fancy clothes.
And the legal side.
Check the fine print. Companies like Logo Garden explicitly state you get no trademark or copyright protection. They have no obligation to check if the design is unique or infringing.
So you could be building your brand on something you don't own and can't protect.
Exactly. Huge liability hidden behind convenience.
Okay, enough doom and gloom. We've seen the traps. Let's talk about the right way. Getting a great logo. Step
Right.
1, hiring the right professional.
Yes. Critically important.
What should you look for? Experience, obviously.
Definitely. Look at their portfolio. Do they have real logo designs that work? A truly good logo shouldn't need a long explanation about what every color and shape means.
Connect.
It should communicate visually, intuitively. If it needs a manual, it's probably not working hard enough.
And this connects to value, right? Not
Yeah.
just chasing the lowest price.
Absolutely. Quality design isn't instant. It takes skill, time for research and development, the right software. It costs money. Like the sources say, you get what you pay for.
Would you pick your dentist based on who's cheapest?
Or your accountant? Probably not. Same logic applies here. This is your brand's face.
So expect it to take time. A good designer needs that space.
Yes, time to research, to explore, to create something genuinely original, something you can actually trademark and own. Rush jobs often mean recycled or generic designs.
Communication is key too. We mentioned that. Direct access.
Hugely important. Email, phone, maybe even visiting their studio. You need that back and forth with the person actually doing the work to ensure they understand your vision and you get consistency.
And here's a great tip from the sources. Look at the design firm's own brand identity.
Yeah. Would you hire that accountant who's always being audited?
No.
Or the mechanic whose car is always broken down? If their own branding doesn't impress you, how likely are they to nail yours?
Makes perfect sense. And beware of shake and bake logos.
Right, those pre-made templates. They seem quick and easy, but they lead to weak, unoriginal logos that might even infringe on someone else's design. Avoid.
Also, watch out for firms with tons of different websites and prices.
Yeah, that multiple domain disorder. It suggests they don't really believe in their own core brand. It's a bit of a red flag, looks scattered, not focused.
Okay, so you found a great designer. Now, what makes the logo itself great? The sources talk about concept and execution.
Yes, think of them as two sliding scales. A great logo scores high on both. You need a strong idea, concept, and it needs to be beautifully crafted execution.
Can you give an example?
Well, the sources mentioned the Steve Dahl radio show logo may be complex, but strong execution. And Electric Lemonade, super simple execution, but a really strong concept. The best logos nail both.
And the fundamentals. Uniqueness seems obvious but critical.
Paramount. Cannot stress this enough. Do not copy. Your logo has to be completely yours. Anything else looks unprofessional and opens you up to legal trouble.
Timelessness is another big one. Avoid trends.
Please, avoid trends like the plague. Remember the swoosh craze in the 90s? Or that glossy, reflective Web 2.0 look?
Oh yeah, they look dated now.
Exactly. Trends fade fast. Aim for something classic, something that won't look embarrassing in 5 or 10 years.
And keep it gimmick-free, no lens flares.
Generally, yes. Things like drop shadows, glows, lens flares. They're often just, as one source puts it, lipstick on a pig, trying to dress up a weak design.
And they make it harder to use the logo everywhere.
They absolutely limit adaptability. A great logo has to work small, like on a pen or a social media icon, and huge, like on a billboard. Simple, clean designs scale best.
Think about sponsors on a sports poster. The simple ones pop even when tiny.
Precisely. Which leads to a really crucial rule. Design it in black and white first.
Why is that so important?
Because color should be secondary. If the logo relies on specific colors to make sense, it'll fall apart in black and white like on a fax or a single color print job. It might just become a gray smudge or black blobs.
So if it works in black and white, the structure is solid. Color is just enhancement.
Exactly. And adding color later is easy with modern software. Get the bones right first.
Let's talk shape, footprint, and aspect ratio.
Right. Footprint is just the space it takes up. Aspect ratio is the height versus width. Why does it matter? Well, a square logo is super adaptable, fits nicely in social media profile spots. Horizontal logos work well for website banners. But if it's too tall and skinny or too wide and short, it becomes awkward to fit places and loses impact.
So think about where it needs to live.
Definitely. This ties into the case for simple logos. They can be hard to sell sometimes because clients think complex equals more value.
More hours spent.
Maybe. But look at the Fortune 500. So many iconic logos are incredibly simple. Think Nike, Target, Apple.
True. Why does simple work so well?
Simple conveys stability, confidence. Simple logos tend to last longer. They're easier to reproduce consistently across all media, easier to adapt. But simple isn't easy.
It takes skill to boil something down.
A lot of skill. Paring back a complex idea to its absolute essence requires a really good designer.
Okay, now for the fun part. Breaking the rules. Our sources list a few common rules you can bend or break.
Yeah, let's bust some myths. First, a great logo equals a great company. True.
False. A great logo helps, but fundamentals, good product, good service matter most.
Next, a bad logo is better than no logo.
Also false. Sometimes just your company name and a clean font is way better than a poorly designed logo.
How about a logo has to cost $5,000?
Definitely false. That number seems arbitrary. Costs vary hugely. You might pay less for just the logo, more for a full brand identity system.
You can never change your logo, ever.
False again. Companies do it. Sometimes you should change if it's outdated or not working, but caution is needed, right?
Big time. One major overhaul can signal positive change. Multiple changes. You start looking schizophrenic, flaky, and unfocused. Think evolution, not constant revolution. Nike, Apple, Microsoft, they tweaked, they didn't scrap.
Okay, one version, all the time. True for everyone.
Not necessarily for smaller businesses.
Yeah.
You have more freedom to experiment, maybe an icon-only version for social media, text-only for certain documents. Big corporations need stricter rules, sure.
What about color limits? Only use 2 colors. Still true.
Less rigid now. Modern printing, CMYK, handles multiple colors easily. But for absolute perfect color matching, spot colors, Pantone, are still the gold standard.
Blends and gradients are forbidden.
Also less rigid. They can work now, but be careful. They can look bad at small sizes or reproduce poorly, banding in low-res situations. Use with caution.
Follow the latest logo design trends.
Definitely false. We already covered that. Trends date. Aim for timeless.
You're only allowed a simple logo.
Nope. Complex, illustrative logos can be fantastic. If they're appropriate for the brand and where they'll be used, maybe not great shrunk down onto a pen, though. Context matters.
But there's one rule you absolutely cannot break.
The big one. You shouldn't steal anyone else's logo. This is non-negotiable. Copying is illegal, unethical, unprofessional, full stop.
But inspiration is okay.
Inspiration is fine. Designers look at other work all the time. They crib, mix, rehash, as the source says, to create something new and unique. It's about transformation, not theft.
Okay, let's get technical for a minute. You've got this great design concept. Now you need the right files to actually use it.
Right.
Vector versus bitmap. This is huge.
Absolutely fundamental. You need to understand this. Vector files, common types are AI, EPS, sometimes SVG are based on mathematical equations, lines, curves, points.
And the big advantages.
Unlimited resolution. You can make a vector logo tiny enough for a pen or huge enough for a billboard, and it stays perfectly sharp. No jagged edges, no blurriness. These are your master files, your source files. Essential.
Okay, and bitmap. Those are the JPEGs, GIFs, PNGs we see online.
Right. Those are made up of pixels, tiny squares of color. They're fine for screens, websites, social media, Word documents, at their intended size or smaller.
Ah, there's the catch. What happens if you enlarge a bitmap logo?
It gets pixelated, blurry, looks unprofessional. You simply cannot take a small 72 dpi web graphic and expect it to print cleanly on a brochure at 300 dpi. It doesn't work like that.
So can you convert between them?
Going from vector to bitmap is easy and standard practice. You generate JPEGs or PNGs from your master vector file for specific uses.
But going the other way, bitmap to vector.
Much harder. Software can try to auto-trace it, but results are often poor, wiggly. The proper way is skilled manual tracing, basically recreating it in vector software. It can be time-consuming and costly. They call it logo repair. Best to start with vector.
Got it. Vector first. Now color and print. Spot versus process. Pantone versus CMYK.
Okay, simple breakdown. Spot color, often using the Pantone matching system, PMS, uses specific pre-mixed inks, like getting a custom paint color mixed at the store.
Benefit.
Exact color accuracy. Your brand's specific blue will always be that blue print run after print run. Often more economical for print jobs with just one or two specific colors.
And process color. CMYK.
That uses tiny dots of 4 standard inks, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, mixed on the press to create a huge range of colors. It's great for photos or designs with lots of different colors and gradients.
Downside.
Generally costs more for the printing plates, and getting the exact same color match every time can be trickier, more dependent on the press operator's skill.
Key things to remember here.
Big one. Your screen shows color in RGB, red, green, blue. Print uses CMYK. Colors can look very different when you go from screen to print. What looks vibrant online might look dull on paper.
So don't trust your screen for print colors?
Never completely. Use a physical Pantone swatch book to choose spot colors. For CMYK, always ask your printer for a press proof and actual printed sample before they run the whole job. Check it carefully for color accuracy and typos.
Good advice. Anything else on printing costs?
Be aware of gang run printing. That's when printers put lots of different clients' jobs on one big sheet to save money. It's cheaper for you, but you might lose some precision on color consistency. Also, bleed, where the color runs right to the edge of the paper, costs a bit extra because it requires larger paper and trimming.
Okay. What about just black and white versions? Still important.
Absolutely critical. You'll need them. Sometimes you need a version with shades of gray. That's called a halftone using dots like a newspaper photo. Other times you need a stark, solid black-only version, linear art, for things like low-res faxes or printing on checks.
And you can only get good B&W versions
If you start with a clean vector original. Trying to convert a complex color bitmap often results in a muddy mess.
Right. One more technical bit. Outline fonts. What's that about?
Super important when sending files to printers or other designers. It means converting the text in your logo into vector shapes, like the rest of the logo graphics.
Why do that?
It means the text will look exactly the same with the precise font and spacing you chose, even if the printer doesn't have that specific font installed on their computer. It locks it in.
Avoids font substitution problems.
Exactly. And avoids potential font licensing issues when sharing files. It just makes the file self-contained and reliable. Small step, big difference.
Okay, technically sound logo achieved. Now protecting it. Intellectual property, copyright versus trademark. What's the difference for a logo?
It can be confusing. Copyright protects creative works fixed in a tangible form, like a painting, a book, complex illustrations. It's automatic for original works. But many simple logos might not meet the level of creativity needed for copyright protection.
So copyright might not cover a simple swoosh.
Probably not. That's where trademark comes in. Trademark protects things used to identify a business in the marketplace, names, slogans, and logos. Its job is to prevent confusion among consumers.
So trademark is usually more relevant for logos?
Generally, yes, especially if your logo is distinctive in your specific industry or market.
And let's kill that poor man's copyright myth, mailing it to yourself.
Total myth. The sources are clear. It offers absolutely no legal protection in court. It's easily faked. Don't rely on it. Proper registration is the only way.
So how do you actually secure trademark rights?
3 main steps. 1, check if it's available. Do a thorough search, ideally with a trademark attorney, to make sure no one else is already using something confusingly similar in your field.
Step 2.
Secure the rights. You can get some limited rights just by using it in commerce. But for stronger protection, you can register it with your state, or ideally, federally, with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, USPTO, for nationwide rights.
And step 3.
Protect it. Monitor for unauthorized use. You can hire services for this trademark watch services to alert you if someone starts using a similar mark. It's an ongoing process.
Okay, protected logo in hand. Now, put it to work. How do you use it effectively?
Be consistent. Plaster it everywhere, as the source says. Repetition builds recognition.
Where specifically?
Email signatures, website headers and footers, blog posts, every single scrap of paper, leaving your office memos, invoices, fax cover sheets. Make it unavoidable.
Business cards and stationery.
Absolutely essential first step. A nominal cost, but huge for that initial impression. Get new ones printed, toss the old ones out.
What about promotional items? T-shirts, mugs?
Great idea. Even for small businesses. Services like Zazzle or Cafe Press let you order small quantities of trinkets like shirts, caps, pens, mugs. Get your brand out there.
And social media. It's crucial now, but logos can look weird sometimes.
Very true. Many platforms demand a square profile picture or avatar. Your standard horizontal logo might get awkwardly cropped or become illegible when shrunk down that small.
So you might need a special version.
You probably will. A good designer can create a simplified or stacked or icon-only version specifically for those square spaces. Don't just try to cram your main logo in there if it doesn't fit well.
Final step, update everything else.
Yep. Go through your old brochures, flyers, presentations, anywhere the old logo or no logo exists, and replace it with the new one. If your company name changed, do it immediately. If it's just a visual update, you can phase it in more gradually, but be consistent going forward.
Okay, final section. What if you already have a logo, but you're not happy with it? When is it time for a change?
Good question. The sources suggest considering it when your current logo just feels tired or dated. Maybe it was a rush job back when you started, done on a tight budget.
Or maybe your business has changed focus.
Exactly. If your market or services have evolved, but your logo hasn't kept up, maybe it's one of those sushi 90s logos we talked about. It might be sending the wrong message. Time for a refresh.
And there's a difference between a small change and a total overhaul, right?
Yeah, they talk about a makeover versus an overhaul. A makeover is less drastic, maybe tweaking the font, simplifying things, improving the technical quality. It's spruced up.
Easier to manage.
Much less traumatic for your existing customers.
Mm.
You can integrate it slowly. An overhaul, though, that's the entire facelift. A massive fundamental change, much riskier.
Why riskier?
You risk confusing people, losing the brand recognition you've built up. One major overhaul can be positioned positively, a new chapter, an improvement.
But doing it repeatedly is bad news.
Very bad. More than one big overhaul and your company starts to look schizophrenic, flaky, and unfocused, as the source puts it. It erodes trust.
So learn from the big guys. Nike, Apple.
Look at how they did it. Nike's swoosh is iconic, but they dropped the Nike text over time. Microsoft Windows has evolved its window graphic. Apple went from the rainbow apple to solid colors to the glossy look and back to flat.
They modified, they didn't completely abandon their core visual.
Precisely. They evolved while carefully maintaining recognition. That's the smart way to do it if change is needed. Build on what you have, don't just tear it down. Hashtag tag tag outro.
Wow, okay. We've covered a lot of ground on logos today. From why you might need one, to the dangers of cutting corners, to what actually makes a logo great both visually and technically.
Yeah, the key takeaways seem clear. Think of your logo as a strategic investment, not just a cost. Avoid those tempting but dangerous shortcuts like cheap software or contests.
Focus on quality, originality, timelessness. Hire a professional you can communicate with. Understand the difference between vector and bitmap.
And get those black and white versions right. Protect your intellectual property properly. No poor man's copyright.
And finally, use it consistently, everywhere. That repetition is what builds recognition.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which leads to a final thought, something to maybe chew on. We talked about how recognition is built through repeated use and exposure. So here's the question. How much of a truly great logo's power comes from its initial design brilliance? And how much comes from the sheer, relentless strategic application of that design over months, years, decades?
So is it the design itself or just the fact we see it everywhere?
Maybe it's a bit of both. But it makes you think, doesn't it? How does that change how you, our listener, see all those brands around you now? And how might you approach building recognition for your own brand?
A provocative thought indeed. Something to ponder. That's all the time we have for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.